So let's just get into it. We have 65 people in here now. Chiodo's joining the stage.
Let's go.
Chiodo, how you feeling, bud?
I'm feeling great. This is an incredible couple of days here.
This is we were going to record
Perfect
yesterday, and we are so happy that we waited because today has been probably the most insane day between last night and today. Let's just lead up top talking about Adrian Griffin being fired by the Milwaukee Bucks, because this is something that we had heard behind the scenes for about, I would say, a month and a half, that obviously shit was not going well with the Bucks. Griffin and Giannis clashed. Griffin and Dame clashed. More recently, Griffin and Brook Lopez and Pat Connaughton clashed.
See, where are you getting this? I had no idea. I thought Terry Starks just left as a bit. I thought he was goofing. I thought he was doing a goof.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's such a... It is very funny that this is like, man, this guy might be kind of a bozo. It's kind of crazy to like hire this coach guy that doesn't really have... I was telling Joe before this, the funniest thing is that he has a 69.8 winning percentage, which almost certainly has to be the highest winning percentage of any coach ever fired. I feel like
it is.
What would even be close? Like, the only thing I think of was like Ime.
I think he has the fourth highest winning. The fourth highest winning percentage in NBA history, just generally as a coach.
That's so funny.
I said this is like best case for him, because now he's going to be like a martyr, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh, this poor guy got fired at 30-13," and the Bucks are going to like suck. They're going to embarrass themselves in the playoffs, and everyone will be like, "This poor guy, they blamed it on him," and he'll be the Mavericks next year.
I'm on my phone, so let me know if this is completely unlistenable. And
you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
So we have Nihilist Bucks in the house as well, Mr. Gregory Smith.
On the ground reporting.
So from what we gather, Adrian Griffin fired. Adrian Griffin fired after I just want to put this out there. How bad are the Pistons that you almost lose to them twice? Not even lost. They won the games, but you almost lose to them twice. He's coming off back-to-back wins, and he is getting fired in January. Like you said, what are they? 30-11 is their record?
30-13.
30-13 through 43 games.
And they have looked awful in all 43 of those games.
Yeah,
except for the game where they beat the Celtics after they had played 5-7 on 65 points. Besides that game, they have looked like absolute dog shit, and I've hated watching them all season.
Yes,
and Adrian Griffin, Dame has hated him the entire year. He was out on him basically as soon as Stotts left, and Brook fucking hates this guy. And I was just. Brook has like been physically or like clearly phoning it in all year, because he's like, yeah, this fucking moron didn't realize we need to play drop, and now I'm in drop, and then he basically played well for 2 games in drop, and then was just like, yeah, fuck this guy.
So what I'm hearing is this is a failure of leadership by Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Or what about the guy who has got a doctorate in leadership?
Who?
That's the funniest thing about Adrian Griffin, is he has a doctorate in leadership, whatever the fuck that
not
means.
Real. That's that's like an Eric Adams like sub guy. Like that's like something an Eric Adams commissioner.
That's what his fucking doctorate was in, and it was just like, are you fucking kidding me? That's not a real major. What
from Phoenix University?
Something.
What school accredited this doctorate in leadership that Adrian Griffin possessed?
Yeah, correct, which is even funnier now that we are linked to Doc Rivers, which just going from a doctor to Doc. Doc Rivers, it's, you know the meme where it's the guy holding up the shirt where like he was already wearing for Christmas?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what Adrian Griffin is, except for maybe the shirt costs about $5 more. Like it's better, but is it really better? Like,
I hate to break it to you. It's going to cost a lot more than $5 more.
Doc is going to give you some funny quotes. It's going to be funny.
So, from what I've heard from, also just kind of pleading, like we can hire Doc Rivers. Please give me anything. Apparently, Adrian Griffin is been helped by Doc for a while. And the Bucks are gonna like literally sit Doc Rivers down and go, if you were helping him, why did nothing improve and it only get worse?
Hold on. Quick question on that. Doc was consulting a team while he was calling games for ESPN, working in the media for the Ringer.
Remember he would go on Simmons' podcast and be like, I still like the Bucks. Like
yeah. Four checks, man. Like you got to keep those revenue streams coming from all different directions.
Yeah.
That's savvy operating.
The funniest part about all this is that we have heard behind the scenes. We've heard about all of this, and now we're learning information. This new thing about Doc consulting. Not only consulting for a month, someone went in the Discord and dug up a clip
of Bill Simmons podcast
of Bill saying Austin Rivers would be a good fit on the Bucks. And then in addition to that, this is the thing that I don't know if you guys remember, but when Ty Lue was Doc's assistant in LA and the Clippers fell apart in the bubble and they have this collapse, he obviously takes the Sixers job. Ty Lue takes the Clippers job. And when they asked him about it, he said, well, Ty Lue was there for all of that too. Basically saying it's not only my fault. Ty Lue was also a part of this. They get to the conference finals the next year, and now Doc has fucking schemed his way back into another job. First off, he's addicted to coaching. Like he goes on Bill's podcast.
Why is he doing this? He has a great life right now. ESPN doesn't even make him leave LA.
Yeah,
he just does Lakers and Clippers games.
Yeah. He doesn't have to leave the West Coast. It's like Lakers, Clippers.
I think the opening night, I kept track of this a couple weeks ago because he was dodging the Sixers. It was driving me crazy. On opening night, he was in New York. He did not. The furthest west he went after that was Phoenix, or east. Furthest east he went after that was Phoenix.
He definitely has it in his contract. Like, if a city has under 50 golf courses, I will not be performing in that city calling a game. So now
Doc Rivers is a shoe-in to go to the Abu Dhabi game.
He's gonna he's gonna be so pissed if the Bucks end up if he has to coach the All-Star game now. He's gonna be so pissed. He's gonna have to be in Indiana in February.
Oh man!
If they get the 1 seed?
No, because Missoula coached last year, so we can't. It's gonna be whoever's the 2 seed.
Oh my God! So we can get Doc Rivers.
No, Joe Prunty, All-Star game head coach.
Oh my God, dude, that would be so awesome. I love that Prunty is like back, and the fact is, like, I'm pretty sure Prunty would be better than Doc Rivers. Like, if the plan is to hire Doc Rivers, just keep Joe Prunty. Like, why?
You know what's just a funny wrinkle in all this? This is 6 years and 1 day to the date that Joe Prunty originally became the Bucks interim head coach.
Oh my God, is that true? Is that a real stat? That's insane.
Jason Kidd got fired yesterday, 6 years ago.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
So you're telling me that we're going to get JB Bickerstaff versus Prunty in the next 2 games, Cavs versus Bucks. Whoever wins these games is the ultimate interim head coach, because I think both of those guys have multiple times in their career been interim head coaches. But so are we to believe that Doc is definitely going to become the next head coach? Because okay, so is this the same exact situation that happened with Udoka with the Nets, except that probably had more to do with the league being like, hey, don't hire this guy yet until we figure out what happened in Boston, because he obviously
I'm trying to think of the more colloquial term or whatever, but from my understanding, they're basically expecting Doc to shoot himself in the foot on his own interview of, if you were helping Griffin, why did nothing go better? And they're expecting him to basically shit down his own leg. I'm pretty sure they actually want to hire Atkinson, and this is all just strategic leaking because the Bucks don't really leak that
Kenny
often
Atkinson
anymore. Yeah.
Okay. So
all of this coming out feels like agent shit, because like the Bucks, ever since Alex Lazary and the Lazary sold the team, because Alex Lazary talked to everybody, they don't really leak anymore. Like the Dame shit came out of nowhere, basically. Like they don't really leak anything anymore. So, because after the Bogdan thing, I'm pretty sure they like batten down the hatches pretty hard. But
that's not fully true, by the way. They do leak some things. They leak that they're interested in Dejounte Murray to Chris Haynes.
Yeah, that one also. No, that one came from the Hawks.
I know, obviously.
Yeah.
What the fuck would the Bucks leak that for?
Exactly. It's like, what is that? It's like, yeah, why would you leak you're trading your own, like, interested in trading your own players? Like, it's just stupid.
Does Giannis really like Doc or something like that? That's like the only thing that makes sense to me.
If you're John Horst, you sit down and go, "We tried your idea. It fucking sucked. Shut up."
This is, by the way, I do just want to point out a big part of the reason why Doc got the job with the Sixers was because he talked to Embiid and Embiid liked him and they hired him, and then Doc didn't work out. And Morey said, "I'm hiring my own coach." And they asked him, "Will Joel have a say?" And he said no. And he hired Nick Nurse, who, by the way, Giannis also could have hired, but he didn't want to play for Nick Nurse.
Yeah, remember, that's what I said all offseason. It's like, Giannis wants anyone besides Nick Nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anyone besides Nick Nurse.
And now the Sixers are 26-5 when Joel plays, with a 12 net rating. He probably would have worked wonders for the Bucks. I do just want to add on top of that, everything you said, NB, about that from the offseason is pretty much coming out now. It was less about let's hire Adrian Griffin and more about let's not hire Nick Nurse, which is like the dumbest way you could approach this. Like, well, he's the only other guy we interviewed, so let's hire this guy who, by the way, worked under Nick Nurse. And I see people pointing out in the comments the Nick Nurse coaching tree, and it's a dying tree because all of his assistants have been fired halfway through their season except for Chris Finch. But I also want to point out that is the case with Bill Belichick in the NFL.
I was just going to say,
it's already coming out officially now that the Bucks front office basically bent the knee to Giannis for Griffin to sign the extension, and then hired Terry Stotts to basically like, Stein is literally basically put it in his article. Yeah, Stotts was the head coach, but they just also were like, well, when Griffin flames out, because we don't really think he's very good, we'll have our interim right there. And
he left before you could even fucking do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. That's some real like Littlefinger like shit, like Hand of the Cat. That's like Game of Thrones shit, where it's like
they were like, I don't know how many Bucks games you guys have watched, because why would you watch they're miserable to watch.
Yeah, I watched them and it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's insane how you have a team with Giannis and Dame on it and it looks like shit. Well, obviously Dame hasn't looked like Dame, but also Dame's kind of been phoning it in because he's wanted Griffin fired for 3 months now. But that's cope for me because Dame has just looked not like Dame.
Yes.
He occasionally will just randomly show up, and it's like, okay, where's this? Just like 80% of this. I mean, it's obviously his 1% is better than Drew on offense, but yeah, obviously the drop in defense. That's just, I don't know. This season's been a disaster, and at least it's trending upward now because anyone will be better than Adrian Griffin.
Oh,
So.
but I
would not just say that.
Hold on. No, hold on. Let me say something. This is exactly what I said when they hired Matt Patricia for the Eagles. When Sean,
by the way, you are the 2023 Eagles. Bad news, man. You're gonna finish 40. You're gonna finish 47-35.
All right.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say is like, it's the fact is that it actually hasn't been that like everyone with like eye test wise is like, I don't believe in the but the fact is the results have actually still been pretty good. They're still in striking distance of the Celtics. They're still the number 2 seed. They're still the second best team in the NBA.
Yeah, and then we have the worst defensive rating in the league.
Yeah, this is so obviously 20. Like, I just cannot. It's like so obvious.
Like, we have been winning games solely based on talent, like just because we have Giannis and Dame and Brooke. And Chris.
You're literally describing the Eagles a month and a half ago. Like, we were all like, it's fine. We're 10-1. We're clutch. We win these games because we're clutch, and not because we have DNA of winners, and because we're more talented and we outwork and out hustle the other teams. And then I'm watching Drew Lock beat us on Monday Night Football, and I'm like, wait a minute.
You guys are gonna finish 47-35 and lose to the Pacers, lose to the Magic in the play-in.
The losers quote, "The Bucks are winning merchants," is fucking killing.
That's what I said about the Eagles. Like,
the Bucks are winning. You're winning close game merchants.
Just winning merchants. They're just winning games. So.
Unbelievable.
Giannis going to the press conference saying a bunch of nothing like Jalen Hurts. I mean, come on.
Yeah, this is so we're gonna see what happens here. Obviously, I mean the Doc wrinkle in it is so funny to me. A few things just about Adrian Griffin. But by the way, so he will have one of the greatest. He will have one of the greatest winning percentages of a coach that gets fired. I would imagine he's not getting another job.
Was he
anytime
second
soon.
to David Platt?
I think he
was better than David Blatt.
I think he was. They were like the 4 or 5 seed when he was fired.
They were having a bad year.
But David Blatt was fired when they were 30-11.
No.
Oh,
Was he?
really?
Yeah, I saw
Okay.
all those tweets coming out because they were 30-11, and then
Okay, but
Griffin's
David Blatt had
30-13.
coached he had coached the year before too.
Yeah.
So winning percentage wise, he wasn't. I think he's literally 4th all time on the winning percentage list now. I think first is like Phil Jackson, and then he's like 4th. So
funny.
It is very funny. Yeah, it was 30-11 in their second season. They were better in the first season. So maybe that's wrong. But either way, long story short here. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Third best behind Jack McKinney and David Blatt. And they both won the Lakers and Cavs won the title the year that they fired those coaches.
That's
So
not
that-
happening this year. Yeah.
Okay,
It was like,
Doc Rivers wins a title for the Bucks. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say just real quick.
if he beats
I
the
don't think
Sixers
it
in
would
the second
happen
round,
if
that's the
they're gonna
last straw.
They hire Doc Rivers, but I know you guys will be maybe biased a little bit, but it would be the funniest fucking thing if Doc Rivers came in and won a title in Milwaukee.
Hold on. We have a
Yeah.
script here. I have a script that I was sent
Mm-hmm.
via our friend Andy in a group DM. And he said, what if it's a Doc Rivers comeback script and their path is the Magic, Sixers, Celtics, and Clippers to win the
Okay. The one solace to Doc beating us would be beating Harden because that would just be hilarious.
Yeah.
But if we lose to Doc, like I'm done. That's the last straw. I can't take it. That'd be it.
So I
mean,
agree.
Of course, I said it
Okay.
last year. But
Can I close out what's going to happen? Well, that's going to happen, and then Joe Biden is going to pass away suddenly. They go to Lincoln Project NBA head coach Doc Rivers. Doc, we need someone to beat Trump. We need you to give up coaching the Milwaukee Bucks and get out there and go up against Trump. And then he becomes president on the back of this. This is the script. This is what I'm saying.
And then he'll reenact that famous scene where Bush is on the golf course and he's like, "We will stop these terrorists at any cost." Yeah, watch this drive.
What are you gonna do about the Houthis in the shipping lanes? Come on, man! I don't know. I'm trying to do the Doc Rivers, the throaty Doc Rivers voice. Just wax the ball as hard as he can. He would be an awesome president.
Another subplot here, like ESPN, huge, getting a great deal here. Like they're getting lucky out here.
Yeah,
that was a disaster contract for them, and they're getting out of it.
Yeah, exactly. This is
it's like if Tobias retired a month into the contract, 1920.
So is it more likely or less likely PJ Tucker comes home if we hire Doc?
More likely.
More likely. Doc and PJ definitely are boys still, I would imagine. I think that they're probably still on good terms. Also, I do just want to point out, so you said that thing about the potential of ESPN getting out of this Doc Rivers contract, the amnesty clause for announcers, if you will. But I also want to point out we're free from Bill and Doc pods, which is amazing. I know some people like the Bill Doc.
I thought they were funny.
They were funny like the first time.
By the way, I looked it up because the Shams article said the Doc's first meeting with Griffin was right before the in-season tournament in Vegas. On December 12th was the "Do you believe?" It was like 5 days later, where Doc was like, "You're giving up on Milwaukee. Like Milwaukee's a good team.
Let's go." Unbelievable. Also, I do just
Doc rules, man. I'm sorry, Doc. This is making me just love Doc. Doc is awesome. Like
Doc is hilarious. His first press conference where he just comes out and like is just as like talking about how great Adrian Griffin is while he stole his job.
That's awesome.
Amazing. This is mob boss shit, dude. This is
Yeah.
like Doc is just like slithering his way from one job to the next, throwing people under the bus in his last place on Bill's podcast so he can get another job, I'll take a consulting role, and then immediately undercut this first-time head coach and take his job if I possibly can. But all right, so I pointed out Bill and Doc. The thing about the Bill and Doc pods is that I didn't hate them at first, but the more I listened to him, the more I realized Doc is just it's basically like Bill only has Doc on so he can just have someone that will agree with him on everything. And then it's just a springboard for all of his ideas. But the downside of this potentially beyond, obviously we'll get the Rosillo and Bill pods back, so that will be great for the NFL season being over. But the downside of this is we might get Bob Myers on the NBA Finals now.
I think it'll be JJ.
Oh, that would be JJ would be better, way better than Doc Rivers.
They should really just
real
go
quick.
get Jeff Van Gundy back.
Just obviously, I've been feeding how bad it's been in the locker room for months. Like we were hearing back in like November that all of the remaining of the championship team got together in a players only meeting in like November and was like, "What the hell is going on? This guy's a moron."
Long story short here, let's run down if Doc does get this job, Adrian Griffin is gone. If Doc gets this job, he will have coached Chris Paul, James Harden, Embiid, Giannis, Dame, KG, Pierce, Ray Allen, Kawhi, Paul George, Tracy McGrady, and Blake Griffin, all in or near their prime. And that doesn't also count guys like Rondo, Middleton, pre-MVP, SGA, obviously rookie MVP, rookie SGA, Tyrese Maxey, he's basically going to have coached 11.
All of these greats by being a Tom Thibodeau defense merchant. And by that, I mean Kevin Garnett defense merchant.
Yeah, Doc has basically made a now potentially 20-year career, because I would imagine if he does take the job, he's going to get a few years with the Bucks, a potential 20-year career after winning the title in 2008. Just a Hall of Fame bag getter. And from the Sixers end of this, the implications here that are involved, the Sixers, if he takes this job, the Sixers don't have to pay the rest of his contract, because right now they are paying his contract for the end of this year and for next year because he had a 5-year guaranteed deal. And since he took the ESPN job, it's technically not a basketball coaching job. That basically means that the Sixers get almost the equivalent of the mid-level exception available in terms of, like, the ownership might be willing to spend a little bit more is what I'm getting
I have no idea how this works, and I'm sure the fine print is very quick, but it would be, or very well defined, but it would be so funny if he didn't get the job, but the Sixers also got out of the contract due to his shadow, like, consulting with Adrian Griffin.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
But anyway, fellas, I got to get to the gym. So enjoy the rest of the pod. Have fun.
Take care of me.
This man is gym bound. I just think that, so thinking about that, because he's also going to lose the ESPN money. Why would he wipe out 2 checks? There's no amount of money the Bucks could pay him that would make it worth his money. I
thought he had accepted, like, this is the life. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. I don't get it. He's miserable when he's coaching. Like, he's miserable.
He from what his daughter said on Bill's podcast when she went on like a little over a year ago, where she was like, he really likes coaching. He's literally a grind set guy, dude. Like, he's addicted to like being in the public eye. But like, this is that's why I thought the media career would be perfect for Doc, because it's like, oh, cool, I get to do all of this. I get to go to the games. I get to call the games. I get to have all the attention, and I get to work in the media. You know, I go on Bill's podcast, I go golf, I do whatever with none of the work. But the reality is he wasn't doing shit when he was coaching either. Like, that's the bottom line on this, is that, like, what is he, if he takes this job, he's going to be doing the same amount of work that he's doing on his current jobs.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He needs to coach Kevin Durant. Like, they just need to do a Vogel. Like, they just need to send Vogel to the Bucks. And just let Doc coach because he and Durant are 2 perfect mirrors. They're two of the same. Also, like my buddy who always will just be with like the most beautiful women, but also just actively destroying his relationship every chance he gets. And the second he's single again, is like, I gotta get back out there, man. I can't take being single. It's like, bro, you just did this. Like he and Durant, they all have the same grass is greener, like fucking nightmare, like designs on everything. They're so funny, man. Like this is what dreams are made out of. I gotta say, it was a really rough day for me. I was really dreading this podcast until the Doc Rivers report dropped. Like even the Adrian Griffin getting fired, but this is just so perfect.
I thought, you know what it feels like with one Woj tweet or Shams tweet, whoever it was, and it's like, oh my god, we just made the conference finals. like it was the greatest feeling ever. I think it's the greatest Shams bomb ever, honestly.
I was gonna say, well, so the first reaction was, wow, obviously everything we were hearing behind the scenes was true about all of this. All the players hated Adrian Griffin, whatever. And then about 5 minutes passed, and I was like, that's crazy. Then the Doc piece comes out, and I laughed so hard that I give myself a Charlie horse. And my cat came over because I was in pain and was like, are you okay? I was like, this is the hardest I've ever laughed at a news story ever again. It is the peak of the Lindsay and Tobias. Well, did it work for them?
Yeah.
Let's try. Like it might work for us. Like this is the definition of insanity, potentially bringing in. Okay, so bringing in Doc halfway through a season when everyone hates each other already. like I know it was probably mostly the players against Griffin, so that will solve itself by like just removing him from the equation if they butted heads or whatever. But if your vibes are already bad, bringing in Doc, it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be they win a bunch of regular season games down the stretch, and then Doc does his thing in the playoffs, which, as Rasheed Wallace pointed out on his podcast, Rasheed Wallace was like, Doc doesn't make adjustments. Doc leaves it up to the players to make adjustments. And it sounds, that's exactly what happened with Adrian Griffin. Like, it doesn't sound like it's all that different from what happened when NB was saying about like the Bucks not running drop coverage and them having to change it. And then the other way this season could potentially go is Doc comes in and the team shits all over itself, and then Damon Giannis asks for a trade after the season. That's like kind of how I see it going.
They need to stay at the 3 seed. That is, like, I need them. I need it so bad.
In the second round.
Yeah, I will be so devastated if they fall to 4 or 5 and the Celtics get to kill them. Like, oh.
Well, that's
who would get past them though?
Cleveland. I don't know. They probably won't happen.
Yeah,
like I'm worried about a 2023 Eagles collapse here.
I wouldn't say that that's not likely to happen. The Bucks have one of the hardest remaining schedules in the NBA, and the Cleveland and the Bucks play each other this week. If the Bucks lose both of those games, the Cavs are in the 3 seed. The Sixers will be twice. Yeah, look at the Cavs have won a ton of games recently.
If the Bucks are the 3 seed and the Heat or Knicks are the 6 seed, like the Bucks are going to lose that.
That's the thing, is that with this new Eastern Conference, with like teams like the Pacers, the Knicks, the Heat being in the bottom, it's not a Mickey Mouse guaranteed second round anymore. And for teams that have like look, firing Griffin might help some, sure, because the vibes being bad on top of everything, but like it's not going to make Malik Beasley and Damian Lillard elite perimeter defenders. And like their whole issue all season has been defense. Like I saw articles coming out about, oh, Dame didn't feel like he fit in Griffin's scheme, and I was like, his offensive scheme is clearly not the problem. Like their offense is totally fine. Their defense is 22nd in the NBA right now. They can't guard fucking anyone. And that's kind of why the fact that they win these games is, like NB said, it's all based on just their talent dragging them across the finish line. And when you get to the playoffs and teams can nitpick on, who we can attack, how we can slow down your offense, all of those things aren't going to work nearly as well. So they have a lot of things to fix in 3 months. Like, really, like, they need to use this time to fucking figure out, like, there's just not, teams need like a whole season to figure this shit out. Like what the Ty Lue thing being the historical example of him coming in and whatever,
LeBron, like peak LeBron.
Yeah, they had peak LeBron James on a team that I know that the Bucks they've massively outperformed their net rating is what I'm trying to get at here. Like good teams, even if the vibes are bad, take care of bad teams. And the Bucks haven't done that all season. They've struggled with the Spurs, the Hornets, the Pistons. Like they're not taking care of business, and they need to figure some shit out like on the fly. That is just way too much for me when you consider the fact that like they're an aging roster, they're a flawed roster, and unless this new coach just completely can figure it out, whether it's Doc or someone else, which Doc definitely is not, I don't see a way that they turn this thing around. I mean, if they do, it would be a miracle.
No, there's no chance.
Yeah.
I think Doc could he's a good regular season coach. He could maybe figure things out in the regular season, but playoff wise, no. You know, what'd be great about Sixers Bucks second round is, Doc will say something before the series or after a game or something, basically backhanded swipe at Embiid or something. Yep. And Embiid will get mad, and the Doc will be like, I don't know.
100%
a Sixers Doc series would be so funny.
All right, well,
so bad.
All right, so we've talked about this before with Doc and coaching matchups in the playoffs, and I talked about this in terms of like if Doc has a massive talent advantage, like when the Raptors played the Sixers 2 years ago, they'll win the series, but it won't be pretty. Like the fact that Nurse made that series 4-2, he made game 2. Really, they had a chance to win game 3.
Sixers should have lost game 3.
Yeah, the Sixers should have lost game 3. That should have arguably been, even though the Sixers blew them out like 3 times in that series. The idea that series went 6 is like pretty much falls on the shoulders of the Doc versus Nurse mismatch in terms of coaching. Look down the coaches in the Eastern Conference right now. This is what I'm trying to get at. The Celtics and Bucks, the talent gap, the one thing the Bucks, yes, the Bucks would have the best player in the series, but the talent gap and the roster mismatch, and like the fact that Mazzulla's kind of figured some things out in his second year with the Celtics, because you have the Celtics. Nurse is obviously a better head coach than Doc. When Embiid plays, the Sixers are way better than they ever were under Doc Rivers in his few years. He also has a championship recently. He arguably outcoached Doc a few years ago. Add in on top of that, you have Thibs, who, has a history with Doc, knows how Doc coaches. Rick Carlisle, Eric Spoelstra, like the coaches, there isn't a single coaching mismatch that he might have in the Eastern Conference, except for maybe if they play the Cavs with JB Bickerstaff. And Bickerstaff has seemingly figured some things out. Maybe it is due to the injuries and a hot streak, but it seems like he's kind of been coaching them up more so this year. So if the Bucks hire Doc, the mismatch for coaching, like you have to have hope that the Bucks talent just wins a series for you is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. Like we could be staring down the barrel. Like I already felt like they could be upset in the first round, but you add in this wrinkle on top of it of like Spo would pants him in a series, Nurse would pants him in a series. Like there's really no layups anymore in this Eastern Conference. And with how good the talent is and how good the coaching is, like they just have to out-talent teams.
I think it's far more likely they lose in the first round than they get to the conference finals. Like far more likely.
I agree with that. Yeah. They've left me cold all year. And I just like, I don't know how realistic the Atkinson thing. I mean, I think NB is coping, but like, yeah. I did see somebody did put the tweet in that like the Warriors outlets were leaking that like Atkinson is going to be like considered. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, that's an interesting guy, because that guy, he can at least coach, you know what I'm saying? Like Now he is the Bud coaching tree. So like, is he better than Bud? Like probably
just bring not. Bud back. They should just bring Bud emails back.
No, we're paying you anyway. Get back here.
Yeah. No, you're coming back and dragging him back in like the hand. I don't know. I just don't think. I think this just basically confirms they're dead in the water. And like, there's the first round is not going to be easy this year. There's not going to be an Atlanta Hawks or a Brooklyn Nets in the first round this year.
The Magic will get smoked by the Celtics.
Yeah. That's the only one.
Yeah, like they're a little frisky, but like you guys will smoke them.
But I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I'm not doing a bit.
Magic's
the
offense.
Atlanta Hawks took the Celtics to 6 last year. That team was dog shit. That was one of the worst first-round teams I've ever seen in my entire life.
The Celtics
honestly, like
better.
the Bulls could be the 8 seed. Like the Bulls could beat the Magic in a game, playing a game.
I don't know. I'm just the Pacers, the Cavs. These are all like legitimate teams. Even the Knicks, the OG Anunoby Knicks. Like there's a lot of like good teams.
If you're the 2 seed, you're gonna have to play probably the Pacers or the Heat. Yeah. The first one.
Yeah.
And the Heat, the newly revamped Pacers and Heat with Pascal Siakam and Terry Rozier being added halfway through the season. Like I just think that the talent level is much different than it was before. The coaching in the Eastern Conference is way better. And look, I agree with you that I think that if the Magic could be a team, I think that they'll get smoked if they play the Celtics or the Sixers in the first round.
It's also not over yet, by the way. They can still add a guard that will make them substantially better.
That's the thing that I'm kind of holding on to hope that they wait until their offseason. If you look at the way that the Magic's books are stacked right now, they have a lot of contracts they could either pick up player option wise in the offseason, or they have a lot of non-guaranteed, like Isaac and Fultz have non-guarantees on there. They could just guarantee Ingles, Isaac, Fultz, all those guys, and have tradable salary again next year and make a more minor move in season. Maybe go get, like, I know our friend Vagberg, who's a Magic fan, has been wanting them to go get like Tyus Jones or something like that. That is just like not a huge needle mover, but like just is a competent ball handler that will help their offense make a little bit more sense, because especially with Franz out, but like even when they were healthy, their half-court offense can look absolutely terrible against them. Last thing on Adrian Griffin real quick. I know Sam hates when we use betting stuff, so I'm not going to harp on this too much. But the Bucks,
we're going to have to at some point. Like the money will come back and I'll have to pretend again. So
the Bucks had the second worst record in the NBA against the spread this year. They were 16-27, which tells you basically similar thing to the net rating thing. They lose a lot of games, or I'm sorry, they win a lot of games that should be blowouts, is what I'm trying to get at here. Like they're barely beating these lowly teams, and that's something that they'll need to figure out here with this new coach. And that's where I'll leave it. I think that's funny enough, the only team that is worse against the spread this year is the Atlanta Hawks, who have future Sixers Dejounte Murray and Bogdan Bogdanovic on their team. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about Sam's favorite topic. Joel Embiid dropped 70 points last night against the San Antonio Spurs. An incredible achievement. Chiodo, we needed to have you in the house for the Embiid legacy talk, because, by the way, people got mad at me 2 weeks ago, whenever I said this is the best Sixers season in history. What do we even have to argue now?
Like, first of all, like, I think people get confused with the Wilt stuff. Like, he was only on the Sixers for like 3 years. Most of his Philly was on the Warriors.
Yeah. Yes. That's why he didn't have. Yeah, that's why he doesn't have all, like, he has a ton of records, but you are correct in that.
And like, I personally don't count Wilt.
Yeah.
But even if you do, like, he was only on the Sixers for 3 years or something.
Yeah. And I also just want to point out, as many people have over the last day, when you're talking about all these stats from the 60s, go watch 60s film, because they barely had half-court offenses. They were just running up and down the court the entire goddamn game.
Embiid played in the 60s. They would have banned basketball. They would have said, like, you can't do this. And basketball, they would have said, no, the government would have shut it down.
Yeah, they would have said nope. They would have said no one over 6'10" can ever play basketball again. It's an unfair advantage.
Hockey would be the only winter sport. We'd be doing a puck podcast right now.
Was that true what Brian said in the early 60s? Off-ball fouls were 1 free throw and the ball back?
Probably.
That's insane. Like, can you imagine how unwatchable that would be in a fucking game? Dude. Like, oh my God.
Dude, not only have the rules changed, but like, yeah, like Will points out in the comments, forget Embiid, just drop Karis LeVert back into
anyone.
Just put Shake Milton back
there.
Milton,
I think I have a tweet about, like, if Shake Milton played in the 60s, every award would be named Shake Milton.
Yeah.
We would be instead of the Bill Russell trophy, you would be getting
The Shake Milton trophy.
the Shake Milton trophy.
I
The
don't know,
Malik
Russell-
Milton trophy.
People, when people try to act like Bill Russell is like a top 5 all time. He was a 6'8" center who could no offense. He would not. He's like Montrezl Harrell. No, not Montrezl Harrell because he had no offense, but like
I was gonna say American Rudy
Amir
Gobert.
Johnson. He's Amir Johnson. That's what he is.
Bill Russell.
Basically a
Bill Russell couldn't have put up a dominant performance against the Wemby.
He was a 6'8"
Spurs.
center. Brand news, man. Bill Russell is not shopping Embiid.
Come on. Although with Embiid's history with 6'8" centers,
Yeah.
Al Horford.
Scoreboard. If Joel Embiid were better than Bill Russell, he would simply win more MVPs than him.
11 rings. The 11 rings don't count. They
Hold
don't
on.
count.
11 rings when there were 8 teams in the NBA and there was like one other good player. Come
Okay.
on.
We can divide. We'll divide it out.
Will was the biggest loser of all time.
Yes.
The guy
That's like
only cared about
3
himself. Like literally,
Alright.
he's the biggest loser of all time.
So newer rings count for 3 times what Bill Russell's rings still count for. He's still a 3-time.
I'd say like 10
I would say
times.
post 1990, yes.
Actually, no, I'd say
Yeah.
what? 22 times more because there's 22 more teams.
Wait, what was
Yeah.
the last Celtics title? 86, 87?
2008.
No, before.
Oh, 86. Yeah, not during my lifetime.
86.
It's
Okay,
during
I would say
my
from
lifetime.
1987 on.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point on all this is let's compare him.
So we're in the Russell era of the WNBA.
You're not. The
Caitlin
Russell
Clark
era of
is
the
about to
WNBA was
come in
like
and
20 years
chip
ago.
it.
Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers are like the Magic Bird era. We're in the Magic Bird era.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Caitlin Clark to come out next year, man. I'm gonna
I
be
want
like a
the
LeBron
I want
stan.
the Sixers to sign her.
I'm gonna be a LeBron stan, but for whatever like Caitlin Clark fucking team. I'll
the
be like,
Indiana Fever.
So annoyed.
Yeah.
Philadelphia's going to get a WNBA expansion team like 3 years after all these people come out.
It's gonna
yeah,
suck.
it's gonna be.
Well,
annoying.
the talent always gets better over time, though. So
Yes.
we just have to wait for our version of this in a few years.
So
So
that means the Jordan's coming out in like 5 years.
exactly.
Yeah.
So back to the Embiid game. I just want to talk a little bit about the season that he's putting together. This is the first player in NBA history to score over 50 points per 100 possessions. 51 points. Harden, I believe, has the record right now at 48 per 100. He is also currently averaging the most points per minute in the history of the NBA, coming off of this 70-point performance.
Celtics fans are really bothered by what I said about Bill Russell.
They'll get over it. They never watched him play, so if they're in chat and they watched him play, good for you for knowing how to use Playback. But also I did like beyond just like the season that he's having, obviously. Let's talk a little bit about the game last night, Mike. You were locked in from quarter one.
Almost immediately, I could tell like he's gonna. My goal is 60. Like I've been dreaming of the 60-point game all year because he had 59.
Mhm.
So I was thinking 60. There was a point I would say when he went on that run in the middle of the third where he had like 10 points in like 2 minutes. I was thinking 82.
Yeah.
Daniel House had other ideas. I really was losing my mind. Like the one open three, like I was like, fine, I guess I get it. The one where him and Embiid it was 2-on-1. He looked off Embiid. Like, what are you doing?
Hold on. He looked off Embiid, and then he got 2 free throws, and he missed both free throws.
Those were 2 big misses though, because we needed the game to stay close.
That was what I was saying last night during the game. Obviously, we have to talk about our priorities here. I was begging.
I was literally rooting for the Spurs. Like,
yeah, same here.
And
I was like,
I've rooted against the Sixers stat padding purposes before, but like I was actively rooting against. Like I was losing my mind.
We were locked in at that moment. I just want to say my general feeling coming out of last night is trade Daniel House immediately. He doesn't get it. Lifetime contract for Nicholas Batum if he wants it. He understands the mission. And Maxey and Tobias over the course of the game figured it out, although Tobias had to do his little bullshit in the third or fourth quarter.
Tobias, I tweeted it like when Tobias, when we need the score to stay close for Embiid to stat pad, Tobias buckets just hurts so bad. It just hurts so bad.
They don't understand. Eyes on the prize. They don't understand what our priority.
I also think that I have no proof of this. Obviously, I think Tobias gets annoyed about the Embiid stuff because there are times where I have no proof of this. This is just my personal feeling about Tobias probably leaking in. But like I watch him play, and sometimes I watch him play, and it's like I think he's not passing to Embiid because I don't know.
He has a personal disdain for Embiid, or he just
no. I think he gets annoyed. Not he gets annoyed at Embiid. I think Tobias wants his own buck.
Sure, he wants to be. He wants it to be his moment. So,
I don't think he likes it, and I have no proof of this when they just go Embiid iso ball every time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had in the first quarter I had a tweet when Embiid scored his 22nd point that I was like, oh, he's going for 80 tonight. I thought that he was gonna drop. I think I might have said 70 or 80, but yeah. So now here is the team's record when Joel Embiid scores 80 points in his career. 80 points, 50 points in his career. I was gonna say pretty much undefeated, I would imagine. So they're 8-0 when Joel Embiid scores 50 points, which is the greatest record of any player. The only one that really comes close is Rick Barry, whose team was 13-1 when he scored that. There's a long list of guys. What's that?
Rick Barry doesn't count.
And also, I do just want to point out, LeBron's teams were 12-2. That's probably the second closest in terms of winning percentage.
It's 2 losses.
And also, I want to add on top of that, Karl Anthony Towns nowhere to be seen on this.
Poor Cat, man.
I feel so bad for Cat.
Can't win. He literally can't win, man.
It's unbelievable.
Cat
this dude scores 58 points in 3 quarters. 44 points and a half, and like everyone's going to use this against them. It's going to be like, oh, you're the dude who scored 62 points and your team lost because you were trying to stat pad. Like, oh,
there was a video going around.
No, and Cat is a huge loser who will never win anything, and I would never want on my team, but I feel bad for him.
Yeah, there was.
Chiodo's like,
I'm real.
Fucking hate this guy, but I do.
If I was an NBA player, I'd probably be like Cat. Like I'd be like, I'd be fine with being the 30th best player in the league, making $200 million.
Yeah,
like I'd be completely fine with that.
Yeah, no, I've never seen a performance where everyone is just blown away by how he's just hot from 3, can't miss. He scores 44 points. I think he scored the most amount of points of any player in the shot clock era, right? Or the modern era in the first half. I'm fairly certain.
That's probably true.
44 or something in the first half. Yeah. But either way, after the game, you have this article come out. First off, you have Chris Finch being like, everyone on this team fucking sucks.
Like he got like he didn't get straight up benched, but he was going in and out of the game within the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, there was 2 minutes. If I've never seen a player that had 60 points in a game,
because
not be on the court in the last 3 minutes of the game.
I turned the game on with 3 minutes left, and he was on the court, and I was like, oh, he fouled out. He had 2 fouls. It's like, oh, he got hurt. No, he's just benched. Like,
and Anthony Edwards said afterwards, at halftime they all got together and they were like, we're gonna get Cat 100.
It's like a 5-point game.
This genuinely feels like this feels like a nightmare that I would kind of have, where I'm like going for like a 60-point game and I'm like excited afterwards, and then it's like coming out in the media that like my coach fucking hates me. Everyone's making fun of me. Another guy had a better game earlier in the night.
Yeah.
So my game didn't even fucking
another guy who you hate.
Yeah, that you hate is
Also, they found out about Embiid's game in the third. They were like, "Oh, Embiid has whatever 60 59. And 59 in the third quarter." So they were like, "All right, we got to get Cat past that." And then in the third quarter, there's these highlights going around of Cat just trying to drive to the basket and turning it over and turning it over and turning it over, getting fucking destroyed on defense. It's just, like I said, he's probably the most tragic figure in the NBA, and I do feel really bad for him in terms of just like you said, he can't win.
He is a loser. Like he doesn't, like he's fine with being a loser.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be. Like there are guys who most guys who are losers are like they think they're above that. Like Cat's just wants to live his life. And unfortunately, he's the 30th best player in the basketball player in the world, and people have high expectations for him.
Because he was the number 1 overall pick, and he got one of the biggest contracts in NBA history.
He is not built for a playoff run. Like, he's not built for it.
I mean, we were saying last night when he had 40 something in the second quarter, we were in the group DM and we were like, the bright lights are just going to kill Cat down the stretch of this game.
I think I said when he had 44 that he was going to finish like 52. Got to 62.
He really is super Tobias.
Yes.
He's like, what if Tobias Harris was more talented, but also was still Tobias Harris at the end of the day? It's unbelievable. Just he's just the peak of Tobias Harris. It's incredible. But yeah. Also, oh God, this is just he scored 61 and they lost. It's just 62 and they lost.
They lost the Charlotte Hornets.
It's unbelievable. But anyway, so yes, back to Embiid.
Sisyphusian punishment, man. Like losing to the Hornets is bad enough, but your signature game of your career coming in a loss to the Hornets is like one of the worst things that can happen to an NBA player. That really is like a Greek punishment of some kind. Like that's like the Falcon showing up to like rip his pancreas out every fucking day, like at the top of the mountain. Like, God damn.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was watching the game and masterclass by former Sixer Shake Milton, who was an absolute disaster in that game to completely undermine Karl Anthony Towns. Huge game on the same night as Embiid. We appreciate it, Shake. We'll trade Furkan Korkmaz for you at the deadline.
Yes, need that.
Yeah, in order to make it up to him. Okay, so this is I'm just pulling up some more stats about Embiid's last 16 games. It is the highest game score, which Basketball Reference does, which is basically kind of like a all-in-one metric that they use. Number 1 is Embiid, and then number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all Michael Jordan. So that's pretty good. Like I said, most points per minute in NBA history this season, most points per 100 possessions in NBA history this season. And I just want to like at a certain point, I know everyone's going to say, well, he has to win a title. He has to have a playoff run, all that. Okay, I understand. At a certain point, what time can we have the conversation about him being the best Sixer ever? Does he have to win the finals? Because I just want to point out the other guys that you brought up, like Wilt wasn't here that long as a Sixer. Yeah. Iverson had 1 or 2 amazing seasons and then was never really
he had one playoff run.
Yeah, and had 1 playoff run. And culturally, obviously, Iverson meant so much to the city and to everything. But like, if you want to talk about like per like production and like just like dominating the game, Embiid is levels above this. And then if you want to add in Dr. J, Dr. J didn't even have his best seasons with the Sixers.
Dr. J was the second best player on the team that won the title.
That's probably not true, but Moses was really good. I think
wasn't Moses a back-to-back MVP coming into that year?
Before he got to the Sixers, yes, but he wasn't. I mean, they were similar.
I'm pretty sure Moses was better.
But either way,
if anything, just because it was 1983 and centers are more important.
Fair, but either way, Dr. J and Moses, 2 legit MVP candidate players on the same team, along with Mo Cheeks, who made the Hall of Fame, Andrew Toney, who was an All-Star, Bobby Jones, like. I know that the league, there were less teams, so it was more likely to have all-stars and Hall of Famers, and you had to beat the Celtics and all that shit. Moses was MVP the year they won. You're right. I was wrong.
I thought he was back-to-back MVPs going into that, but yeah.
I thought he only won with the Rockets for some reason. That was my fault. But either way, Moses and Dr. J, incredible careers. They also got to play with another MVP candidate at their, near their peak. And you can make the argument because the path that they got there and they beat the Lakers and the Celtics and whatever. Sure, absolutely, you could make the argument. But like Barkley had his best season on the Suns. Like if you run down the list, there has not ever been a Sixer that had 4 straight years like Embiid is having right now. Second in MVP, and now potential back-to-back MVPs.
I think Embiid's the best Sixer ever. Like I don't think it's close at this point. Like honestly, like who would it be? Like Wilt didn't play here long enough. Moses didn't play here long enough. Like Barkley's not better than him. Iverson's not better than him. Like
Dr. J is
I think it's him or Dr. J.
Yeah, and Dr. J got to 4 finals in his run. I believe even before they got here, he got to the finals. They lost to the Bill Walton Blazers. He absolutely had an amazing run. But in terms of just like at a minimum, he's by far the best regular season Sixer ever.
Oh yeah, and Dr. J played 11 years with the Sixers. The last like 3 he was washed. So Embiid's like already played more like, seasons, like meaningful seasons than Dr. J.
I think he was 27.
He was 27,
when he first got to the Sixers. I was going to say, so it's not even like he's like you said, career long, playing his prime, majority of his prime. Like I said, like he had really good seasons with the Nets before he got here. So like I think in terms of this is at a minimum, this is the best Sixers career that we've seen. And I know the old heads might.
And like I think there's a difference between best and greatest. Like greatest Sixer ever. Probably Dr. J or Iverson.
Sure.
Best Sixer ever, best player, I think is Embiid. And I don't honestly, it's getting to the point I don't think it's close.
If they won the championship this year or next year, and he has two MVPs, a finals MVP, all that stuff, the script gets completely flipped. And now we're talking about the only other guys from this generation that are in that category are Jokic and Giannis, and those guys are both considered top 25 players of all time.
I was saying last night, if he wins an MVP this year, wins the title, let's just say this year, hypothetically, just say this year, so he caps off a season where he averages 35, 12, and 6 with his second straight MVP and a title. He is better than Giannis all time. He is. I'm sorry. And I would say Jokic and him are about even, and they're both like top 20 players of all time.
That's where it would land if he ends up winning a title. Now, he still has to win that title.
Yeah, I know. It's a big ass, but like if he were to win the title, he's better than Giannis. We're almost at a half decade now where Embiid is like a tier ahead of Giannis in the regular season. Like not just better, like a tier ahead.
Let's go.
Like Giannis has not been in the same conversation.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Well, because that even just winning one title does so much for all those like fucking conversations. Like Giannis right now would be taking a fucking beating if he didn't have the Mickey Mouse 2020.
And I think he's going to start taking that this year because they're going to go out sad.
Yeah,
people will actually take a serious look back at that title and be like,
Chiodo, you're playing with fire right now.
Throwing
I'm playing. No one's gonna remember this in 4 months. Like I can say whatever I want right now.
No, Will reminds me of everything. By the way,
yeah, I've been clipped many times. I've learned to do this. Yeah.
My favorite comment through this whole stretch here was Bert's in the comments saying,
Celtics fans are really bothered by what I'm saying. Like, wow.
Hold on.
Just saying. Like they're bothered. I'm just saying.
Hold on.
Sorry.
The best comment here. The best comment here has to be that Bert said that the person that Sam would think is the greatest Sixer of all time is Andrew Toney because he killed the
Boston Strangler.
Toney was so good. During COVID, they played the whole like 83 run or whatever on NBC Sports Philly, and like Toney was unbelievable.
He was Boston Strangler, man, dude. He fucking killed it. Like that's like the Terry Rozier shit, man. Like I'm just saying, guys have it. Like I'm becoming a boomer as I get older and I watch more NBA. Where I'm like,
guys have it.
That shit is like real. Like that. Like just guys have it, and you need guys like that.
If you had Tobias Harris on your team, you would have realized that a lot sooner.
I have Jason Tatum on my team, who's just the Pokemon evolution of Tobias Harris.
Speaking of Embiid, how freaking embarrassing is it that Celtics fans try to put Tatum in the same convo as Embiid? Like, just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. They still do it.
I'm not going to argue this.
Tweet if you tweet right now, Embiid is better than Jason Tatum. You will get Celtics fans in your mentions saying arguing against it.
You guys should do that because there's a lot of writing off of the Sixers going on right now. I'm starting to come to
I'm going after Celtics fans now. You guys are being freaking dangerous.
Well, this is what I'm saying. That this is what's going to happen. I'm telling you,
your guy sucks. He's averaging 26.
Karmically, what's going to happen here is the Celtics are going to get past the Miami Heat and they're going to think it's all gravy. Okay, we're going up against the Sixers. These guys are bozos. We own them. This is what's going to happen is we're going to lose in the conference finals again.
You guys should keep in mind the Sixers are such bozo losers. We were 3 minutes away from eliminating you.
Yes,
keep that in mind,
yes.
man.
No. Look, preaching to the fucking choir. Like Embiid ran out of gas and like two guys got cold at the wrong time. Like I'm just and like I don't know. I am extremely
Jason Tatum.
Will accuses me of pandering. Will accuses me of pandering and being like a sneaky little like, oh, Sam like doesn't respect the Sixers. Like the fact that he's nice about the Sixers means that he doesn't actually respect you guys. And that's not true. Like the Sixers are way better this year than they've ever been. The Celtics are better too, but the Celtics have lost their dogs. There's one dog on the team.
Jason Tatum let Caleb Martin come into his home court in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals and lose.
Yep.
I love that Chiodo is now baiting the Celtics fans and they're
like,
all...
this is nuts. Like, shut up. Like, what are you talking about? This is not your time. Like, show up in May if you lose again.
This is unbelievable. This is just I'm going to let you cook.
How can you guys think Tatum is better than Embiid? Watch the sport. What is wrong with you?
I'm loving
it's this. The one, like, I can ignore a lot of Embiid stuff, like, because you have to. The one thing that really gets me, because it's just so absurd, and Celtics fans truly believe it, is Tatum over Embiid. It's so absurd. It is absurd.
I agree.
It is the equivalent of me. It is. I have a better case saying Maxi's better
on
than
the team
Tatum.
now.
I have a better case saying Maxi's better than Tatum. I do.
Let's go.
The stats would bear it out.
Hold on. I'm giving Chiodo a flame on this one.
Tyrese Maxey averages 26 and 7. Jason Tatum's averaging 27, 8 and 4. Joel Embiid's averaging 36, 12 and 6. Your favorite stat is W's. Yeah, guess what, guy? You haven't won anything either.
Chiodo.
I love this.
I love how Celtics fans can use the Sixers thing so they can like get mad at us like we choke. Meanwhile, you guys have lost to the freaking Caleb Martin Heat twice in 3 years. You lost to that garbage.
I was having a fun time.
You lost to that garbage Warriors team. You were up 2-1, about to go 3-1, and Tatum fucking blew it. And you lost to that garbage Warriors team. Blew a title.
No!
Like, yeah, you guys have the same stuff as us. You just do it 2 weeks. You just do it 2 weeks later, so it's fine. Then.
No!
Let's go.
Chiodo, that was like the car accident. Like that was like watching like a
it's not 4 weeks later. You guys got there once. 2 weeks. 2 weeks later.
I'm watching the fireworks go off, and then all of a sudden, someone starts shooting the fireworks. Starts exploding near me.
Celtics fans, like, you guys think you're basketball royalty. You haven't won. You haven't won during this era either.
I am. Nobody's more aware of that than me.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking like the way Celtics fans talk to like Bucks fans. Like I hate the Bucks. The Bucks have a title, guys. You don't.
That's true. By the way, shout out to pointing out that Derek White is having a meltdown shooting corner threes. And guess what the hinge point was? Yet a fucking again.
JJ Redick.
Was him going on the JJ Redick podcast, and they talked about the goddamn shooting again, and it fucking happened a goddamn again. I'm going to become the Joker.
JJ, if you're listening, if sometime in April you want to have Derek White back on your podcast, we would really appreciate you having him back on. So you can't carry the Celtics back to the Eastern Conference Finals again.
Take the job. I've never been more happy than that Joe Mazzulla didn't hire him. The Celtics would have a worse record than the Pistons right now if they had hired JJ Redick as a coach.
Estimated plus minus currently says Derek White is the best. So I'm a big analytics guy now. Joel Embiid, number 1 in the NBA. Let's see, Derek White. Oh, Kristaps Porzingis now ahead of.
Yeah. Porzingis is clearly better than
Tatum. Porzingis. I'm not. It's like barely a joke. Like
Celtics
Tatum is the 4th best
cried
player.
Over trading Marcus Smart because it's Porzingis.
Oh, hold on.
Hold on. They were right to, because it should have been Brogdon in the trade. But
so as a big analytics guy, as a big calculator rat, I just want to point out Derek White. This is the order right here. Number 15, Derek White. Number 16, Kristaps Porzingis. Number 17, Tyrese Maxey. Number 18, Jason Tatum. Okay.
You know what's like crazy?
Jason Tatum's not better.
Celtics have everything go right for them. Everything go right for them. Sixers have everything go wrong for them, and both of us have accomplished nothing.
I don't know. Crazy. I don't know if I'd say everything has gone right for them.
Everything goes right. Like, I'm sorry, but your 6-man rolling his ankle is not like the end of the world. Like, you're fine.
I don't know. The Miami Heat double magic.
Tatum is not better than Luka, man. Not even close.
The Miami
Luka
Heat
is averaging 34 points a game.
I can't. I every time Chiodo like starts slandering Tatum, I'm like, yes. And then when he broadens it out to the Celtics, I'm like, no.
Jason Tatum is like the 8th best player in the NBA. It's great. Just accept that and don't try to put him on with the top guys. You put him on with the top guys, you're gonna get
the Devin Booker. He's cooking on the Devin Booker.
If you compare Tatum to guys in Tatum's class, like now this version of Kawhi, actually that might, but this version of LeBron, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, just compare them to those guys and you'll be fine.
We love to see it. Tobias Harris.
I'm not going to go that far.
Let's go.
I won't go.
No. All right.
Yeah. You guys are saying I'm having hubris. I'm just calling you guys out for your hubris. You guys think you're like this basketball royalty. You haven't done anything either.
It's true.
Every time Celtics fans this year have been so angry that Sixers fans are like enjoying the season.
Oh my God. No. Hold on. That's not just Celtics fans. That's all of the NBA. Like anytime I tweet anything, it's like, oh, LOL, the second round, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm going to still enjoy when the best player on our team scores 70 points.
That's the one, I don't get it. Like Celtics, like just shut up. If we're that much of a non-threat and you're that unthreatened by us, then you shouldn't care about us.
Yeah, that's the tip. That's the tip. I'm worried.
I think Celtics fans secretly Celtics fans are terrified. I'm not going to say they're terrified of us. They're terrified of losing to us.
Yes.
They got so close last year because they know what would happen if they lost to us, and they're terrified of losing to us. So they have to,
because that's the inversion. Because all of a sudden, that's like the window is closed. Or is closing. Like there's a real because right now the Celtics just get to run through the East.
And I'm the same way with the Phillies and the Braves. The Phillies own the Braves. To be honest with you, I don't want to play the Braves in the NLDS this year. Like we own them right now. The only thing we can do is lose.
Right.
I get where Celtics fans are. You don't want to play us.
The upside isn't.
We have the upside. You guys have the downside. You don't want to play us. I get it. Mm-hmm. We have the best player in the series by far.
It's gonna be it's gonna be biblical. I'm trying to. I really feel like that this is the things have aligned. What happened to the Phillies and the Eagles is like perfectly aligned for the Sixers, who have been.
It would be so funny.
The loser franchise to just be the ones who did it. I'm telling. There's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of the Trump getting elected. There's a lot of Hillary shit going on with the rest of the NBA.
I just dream of a world where it's August and the Eagles are starting. Everyone's like, oh, these fucking guys. At least we have the Sixers.
yeah. There's gonna be
the script just completely flips.
There's going to be so many people going back to tweets from June of last year where it's Jalen Hurts has done miracles on me, and then being what a bozo this guy was. I love you, Maxie. There's going to be shit like that. It's going to be
all right.
It's going to be awesome.
Let's move on because I have some other questions here for Chiodo. Okay. Chiodo, first off, I agree that they won't let this deadline go by and just whatever. I see people, they're going to use second round picks to get what. That's not happening. They're clearly going to be aggressive. They have said openly, publicly to Woj, they've leaked. They don't view the talent gap between them and the Celtics right now as something that would be passable in the playoffs. They want to try to get better. They want to think about making moves to beat the Celtics in a series more so than trying to, make marginal upgrades. So, Chiodo, I need to know your guys at this deadline.
So I have two.
Okay. Oh, you have two?
Well, I have two guys above everyone else. Not even close.
Yes.
Number one is Dejounte Murray.
Okay.
He recently surpassed number two, and it was a shocker. I was not expecting number two to get surpassed, but Dejounte Murray is a superstar. He is the perfect compliment next to Maxey. I mean,
also,
if we get Bogdan in that deal too,
do you just want to point out that on his podcast, Maxey apparently shouted out Dejounte Murray today.
Yes. Dejounte would be special here. Dejounte's a guy who's built for it. He's built for the moment. It's game 6 of the conference finals. We're up 3-2 on the Celtics. Celtics fans are crying. Dejounte Murray comes in and he gets the job done.
Let's go.
He's not, so I need Dejounte. If we could get Bogdan in that deal, I don't know if this is smart or not, but I'd empty the assets for Dejounte and Bogdan for the Dejounte and Bogdan deal.
Okay, so I keep seeing people say this about Dejounte being terrible in the Celtics-Hawks series. That's not true at all. They won. They won the fucking minutes that he was until the suspension game when Trey went on his heater. They were winning all of the Dejounte no Trey minutes and losing the Trey no Dejounte minutes. And also, he averaged 25, 8, and 8 on 60% true shooting in that series.
Dejounte's the guy.
Dejounte was actually good in that's the only reason that I was like, okay, maybe he can be a better player than he has been.
Yeah. Number 2, I don't know if we're going off Dejounte yet, but number 2, I'm very excited about. That would be Kyle Kuzma.
Let's go.
My God.
So wait, first off, what's your deal for Dejounte? You got to tell me what the deal is.
It's Dejounte and Bogdan for Tobias, and all our picks.
All 3 first-round picks you would do there?
Well,
2, 3?
I'd have to consider what the value is. I don't know. I don't know what the value of Dejounte and Bogdan is. Would we need to give up the Clippers pick, you think?
I think
I think I would if we needed to.
I think that what they're angling for right now, they had everyone come out and deny that they were still engaged on the Dejounte trade, because I think that they probably offered expirings and a first-round pick, and then Atlanta started leaking, we're going to get a pick and a swap from the Lakers. We're going to, maybe if they can move D'Lo to another team, we can just, take back an expiring or whatever. I think most of that is just posturing from Atlanta side, trying to get a better offer out of either the Sixers or another team, maybe the Nets, whoever's interested in Dejounte. And I think that Dejounte is going to get traded for a first-round pick. I think for Bogdan and Dejounte, it would probably be 2 first-round picks and a swap, maybe.
Okay,
but maybe you throw in Melton, as someone says in there, as if they want to get back a player that
Melton would make sense
can play.
So that's actually Dejounte, Bogdan for Tobias, Melton. The fake 26 first, the 29 first, and the 29 swap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think that they're not going to massively overpay for any trade like that, because they're going to say, look, we're doing you a favor. We're getting you off the contract. And I think that they'll probably try to get him for pennies, if anything, and maybe not get Bogdan back in that deal if possible. But I still think Dejounte is the guy. I still think that is, if they don't go the Levine Caruso route, that's been rumored or whatever, and they don't go after guys that they view as marginal upgrades over the starters that they have right now, I think that Dejounte is the one that makes almost all of the sense in the world in terms of what they need, just a shot creator who can handle the ball, create his own offense. Defensively, you'd hope he can get back to where he was before. Obviously, he has crazy tools. He's a 6'10" wingspan, is a big deflections guy. Earlier in his career with the Spurs, he was one of the best rebounding guards in the NBA. He ticks a lot of the boxes, is what I'm trying to get at here. So I think that Dejounte is more likely than the majority of guys that they have been rumored, but
I know it sounds like I'm joking. It sounds like a bit, but I'm serious when I watch Dejounte. That guy has it. That guy, Eastern Conference Finals games, he will show up.
All I'm saying is trade block Dejounte Murray over the last 3 games: 22, 11, and 3, 24, 9, and 5, 35, 10, and 6. Let's go.
I've been sitting here listening to this, and I have to pretend like I shouldn't just immediately call a crisis line or something like this, because you guys have convinced yourself Dejounte Murray is the answer.
No, to be clear, I always thought this, and I was scared of getting canceled by Trill, because Trill was so anti Dejounte. And it was we were 2 months after the deadline. I was like, I'll let him go. When it gets closer, I'm going to say it. But right now, I'm not going to get canceled.
No, you're right. I remember in the group DMs being the biggest anti Dejounte guy. But I've seen the light. He can shoot now. He shot for the last year and a half. He shot above league average.
Trill, like if a family member had a switch up as pronounced as what happened to Trill over the last 3 months, I would like call like an anti-cult like line. Like I would be like, I think Trill is gotten into Scientology. I believe that he is going clear as we speak. He's on the meter. Like this is I can't. I take back everything I just said about being nervous about the Sixers. If you guys want Dejounte Murray, I'm just going to put that out there. So
okay, so I'm looking at the stats now. Stats from the Celtics series last year. I saw someone say something about his true shooting percentage. I'm trying to find his averages. For some reason, StatMuse is not coming up with his averages. But
primarily guarded by Malcolm Brogdon. So whatever you're about to say is nonsense.
Malcolm Brogdon. We sure?
He roasted Derek
wasn't
White.
Derek White or Marcus Smart?
Sure, we can say it was Derek White's fault too. It was not Marcus Smart's fault.
Wasn't Marcus Smart didn't start in that series?
Dejounte averaged 23, 7, and 7.
He was leveraging.
23, 7, and 7 on what, 45,
38,
100 splits?
Yeah.
The reason
Derek's allowed to be bad in that series.
Okay.
Derek had a great offensive series for that one.
Let me just point out here that one of the reasons why Dejounte's true shooting isn't as good as some of his counterparts is because he doesn't get to the line a lot. I don't really worry about that on a team with Embiid and an improved Maxey who's been getting to the line a ton. Like they need a guy who could just get like buckets and not rely on getting to the line a ton. I care more about that as we get deeper into the playoffs than a guy who's just going to live at the line. So, and it's not Tobias Harris. Fuck you. Anyway, Kyle Kuzma, what's your offer for Kyle Kuzma?
I don't know how much money Kyle Kuzma makes.
He makes $23 million.
Okay, so we need Kuzma, and then we need some way to get up to Tobias's number because I'm trading Tobias for.
Tobias is gone again.
Tobias has to be going on any trade. I'm looking it up right now. So Kuzma, let's see, the Wizards, Washington
We
Wizards.
get DeLon Wright.
No, Tyus Jones, Charles guy.
Tyus Jones.
I take Tyus Jones to get up to the Tobias number.
Denny
Oh,
Advia.
Shamit. No, he's 3 years. So
Yeah.
I
Rob
would love
Flom in the
Shamit.
comments says Tobias is better than Kuzma.
Nope.
Jordan Poole? Getting Jordan Poole?
No, Jordan Poole. No, absolutely not. Kyle Kuzma just needs to be on a winner because he's a winner and like he just needs to be on one.
Oh, Shabbat coming home. Kiss.
I do not want Denny Advia. Like that's completely nonsense. Like I don't know what you're talking about. I have hated that Denny Advia since the draft.
Chiodo hater.
Yeah, the Celtics fans are rattled. Like there's no way around it. They're rattled.
Shook. Anyway. All right. So for the record, I don't think Kuzma is someone that they would go after. I just doesn't fit the idea of the player that I think. But if Chiodo wants it, maybe it needs to happen.
Poole is more of a contender than Embiid. Like the Celtics fans are rattled. It's been like a half hour straight just shitting on Embiid. Like, they're rattled.
Let's go.
It's rare you see. Let's put it this way: if we were this much of a non-threat, they would not be this rattled right now.
Let's go.
Just a fact.
All right. Last topic of conversation we have here on the docket. Terry Rozier was traded to the Miami Heat. This is something that has been rumored for like a week or two now. We talked about this a month ago. Sam half right again once the witch called this trade. I believe it was.
Well, you pointed out the critical part because when I came up with the trade, I was like, well, and then you want to do salary matching because like there's no way you wouldn't. But I forgot the Miami Heat are quietly also a Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
And we're saving money in this trade. So that's why they didn't take Cody Barton back because they just wanted money. So I got the trade wrong, forgetting how cheap the Miami Heat are low key. So
there's about a $5 or $6 million difference in Kyle Lowry and Terry Rozier's contracts. So this trade, this was from Bobby Marks. Their pre-trade tax was $29.4 million, and their post-trade tax was $13.9 million. So they saved $15.4 million by trading Kyle Lowry for Terry Rozier. And they added a first-round pick, also created a $6.4 million trade exception. And they now are in a situation where, like you said, they get to save a ton of money, which I totally forgot that element too, which is that Miami is going to look to get more money off the books because they have incredibly cheap ownership. And it's part of the reason why they haven't been on half the stars over the last 3 years, is because they just didn't want to take on a bunch of money in these deals. So they save money here. They end up getting a better player in Rozier for where Kyle Lowry's out in his career. And I mean, look, we like the deal from the jump for them. This is an idea that we came up with, a month ago for the Heat and the Hornets to make this trade. And now Bill Simmons and Zach Lowe and all of them are taking credit for our idea that they stole. And
we know you guys listen. We know.
You're clearly tuned in and stealing all of our ideas, because we've been saying this for a while. I think you even go back to like around Christmas, we were saying something along these lines. I like the trade for the Heat just because the Heat's offense is absolutely terrible this year. Not that has ever mattered in the past, to be clear. They win in the playoffs with their defense anyway. But this move, they're in the 20s in offense right now. I don't even think their defense is that good this year. I think they're like 11th or 12th in defense. But Jimmy Butler's missed a bunch of time. Now Jaime Jaquez is out for an extended period of time. I like the move for the Heat. I think Terry's just an instant upgrade over Kyle Lowry, gives them more shooting, gives them more shot creation. The only thing that I'm worried about is, like, can Terry Rozier defend in the playoffs? Because he hasn't done that in a while. And can he get back to that?
He's been fine. Will's making the other point in the comments, which is about how small Miami is, but they're small every year. That's rat mode, man. They weren't big last year. And I get that, like, Lowry is he's like Marcus Smart, and that because he's like a fire hydrant, like you can't move him on like posts and stuff like that. There is a little bit of like deceptive size there. Just in terms of like, you can do big defender switch scram shit like with that. But I don't know. I think that this just fits a lot better. When Tyler Hero inevitably gets Nancy Kerrigan by Pat Riley to like once again like take him out of the playoff rotation, Terry will provide a lot of that same like movement shooting and shot making that they're gonna need. And they're just playing like a lot better. I might have to finally take the Gabe Vincent L, just because I
no,
keep thinking,
hold on. Yeah. They're not really playing better though. It's the same exact thing as last year.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like the inversion of all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they just keep doing this fucking weird flippy floppy like regular season, postseason. Like they really are they're like a fucking Arkham City villain where it's like, when the Miami Heat get to the playoffs, they're gonna play better. Like you have to like do all your damage to them in phase 1 in the regular season, otherwise they won't win. I don't. I fucking hate this trade because it also gives the Heat a key thing they've been missing, which is charisma. And I mean real charisma, not like Jimmy Butler's fake theater kid charisma, like a genuinely likable guy. And I think
this is such a Bill comment.
Yeah.
they got a good locker room guy in their house.
There's an aura guy. They got a guy with real aura now. Like what? Bam Adebayo's aura? Get the fuck out of here. No. Terry Rozier is happening. Yeah.
Terry Rozier. Look, I like it just because I think the Heat need an injection of offense for sure. I also think that I'm looking at this. The comments do bring up a good point. Miami's really small. And I know you just said you don't really care about that, but like pretty much every team in the East is a lot bigger this year, except for Milwaukee, I would say. Like the Pacers just added size with Pascal Siakam. The Sixers still have some time to go, but they're a little bit bigger, especially if they lean into this Kelly Oubre at the 2 lineup stuff where Maxi's really the only small one in the starting lineup. The Heat definitely are smaller positionally when you're comparing it with these teams. And like, I know Bill and Zach talked about this a little bit, but like with the Celtics matchup, like Porzingis versus Bam, like he could just shoot over him. And there are a lot of these guys in the Eastern Conference that I think might be able to, like, Miami's always been the team that kind of out-toughed other teams. Like, I know that like the PJ Tucker shit was mostly Boomer stuff, but like he would help them destroy on the glass. And I do think that it's going to be a little bit of an identity shift for sure, but also they need shooting and shot creation probably more so than any other team, because like you said, you might not be able to rely on Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero when you get to the playoffs. Duncan Robinson's been good this year, but also he oscillates between being amazing and completely unplayable every 2 to 3 months. It's an amazing swing that we see from him.
He's like the definition of a streaky guy, like straight up. Like, by the way, I read the Haynes article real quick. I just to see Rob Flom did too, but there's literally nothing new in there. It's just like that he lost
the locker room. Shocking.
Yeah. So never mind. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that Miami, look, are they probably going to get away with it again? Yes. I think that Terry, if all I'm saying is, if we don't see after this Terry Rozier trade in the next 2 to 3 months, them kind of doing what they did last year, where they flip the switch, they get Kevin Love, and they're just fucking destroying teams down the stretch of the season. I wrote it off as Mickey Mouse March stuff last year. Now I'm tuned in to see what they look like down the stretch of this season, because if they look incredible and they're world beaters again, I'm going to be afraid that they're going to go on another run. And if they kind of, wince their way to the finish line and the vibes aren't great, I'm probably not going to be thinking that they can win multiple playoff series again this year, because last year around this time is when they were looking like they were dead in the water. And then the last month of the season, they went full month and a half. They went full zombie heat mode, and they completely turned things around. And then they obviously go on their insane run to the NBA Finals. So
I think I'm like 90% sure the Heat actually suck this year.
But
the 10% is just so terrifying that I don't want to play them in a playoff series. So, but I also think the East is a lot better this year. Like the Celtics are better, Sixers are better, Bucks are worse.
The teams that I thought were going to be like dog water have all made meaningful.
Dude, like the Celtics fans, if we can't talk about you guys can't talk about the Heat. So
that's true. I think that like the Pacers getting Siakam make them less of a like Mickey Mouse meme team. I think that Knicks getting OG gives them like a little bit more like genuine viability for when Randall inevitably like destroys himself. So like there are genuine. My criticism of the East has been that 4 to 8 has been like pretty soft, but I think it is like kind of stiffening up as the season goes along. And if like Orlando makes like some sort of guard trade, I think they can be pretty scary. So like I do think the East is like genuinely like better, and I think that the Heat won't be able to get away with it as much as they usually do.
If the Heat need to get the 6 seed and Bucks 3 seed, then they're in business.
Yeah.
I also want to point out, Rob saying this in the comments now that Jimmy Butler hasn't been the same this season. He does this every year.
Yeah,
he does this every single year. I'm not falling for it. Last year, the year before, until January, his BPM is half of what it is. His production isn't good. And then in February, somehow he turns into the ghost of Michael Jordan.
I remember in 2022, the 2021-22, remember he got into that fight with Spo, and people were talking about trading him. I remember like Sixers fans, like I suggested trading for him, and everyone was like, "You can't take that contract on." Like this is what he is. He's in the regular season. He's just not. He's like playing possum all year.
Yeah. He's Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce did the same fucking thing.
The Eagles did not do that.
Yes. No, but in the playoffs, I turned on the playoff game and I'm like,
great. It was like Travis Kelce all year. I was like, this Chiefs team sucks. Like they're gonna get embarrassed. And it was like literally 2 plays into the first playoff game. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. I was on the other side. This must have been like what watching the Patriots felt like. Like it was so. I'm watching the Bills. Just
I actually don't have the same hate for him as most Eagles fans, but like,
I'm just watching them like the Bills just grinding, running football. Like they're doing everything to do, just keeping Pat Mahomes off the field.
I knew the Bills were losing that game. It was their game 6 moment.
And then they just fucking every time the Chiefs just flew down the field in like 7 seconds and scored a touchdown. It was like one of the most demoralizing. I would have.
Yeah, I don't know how you come back from that.
I don't know how you say if I were a Bills fan, I would have unalived myself.
I mean,
that was like one of the most.
Speaking as someone who says that after every year, but like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Chiodo was in the group DM every time something bad happened to the Bills, and he would be like, "That was D'Anthony Melton missing another 3. That was like."
I was actually, it was game 6 the whole time, but the wide right field goal makes me think maybe it's the Kawhi shot, because if you remember the Kawhi shot, everyone's kind of like, everyone remembers the Kawhi shot is when they lost. Obviously, it's when they lost, but like even if he misses that, you're going to overtime on the road and Embiid's gassed.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Even if he makes that field goal, Patrick Mahomes is getting the ball back tied with 2 minutes left. He's going to go get a field goal.
They were going to win that game.
Yeah. The game was over. The game was over when they got stopped there.
Yeah. Is this a serious thing in the comments right now?
Nate McMillan. McMillan.
No, not Nate McMillan.
Oh my God.
Oh no. Sixers fans.
Oh my God,
Nate McMillan getting hired halfway through a season does not spell well for us.
That'd be a disaster.
If you think about recent history with that, hold on, it's Jeff Van Gundy. Who they're really considering Jeff Van Gundy. What was the last time he coached a team?
I think Jeff Van Gundy's agent just gets involved every time there's a coaching.
Yeah,
floated out there.
He gets floated for everyone, and he's never even close.
Yeah, hold on. I'm now looking up what was someone needs to. Was it the Rockets? Was the last team he coached?
The Yao Rockets.
That was the last team he coached.
So, yeah.
Yao Ming's Rockets. George Bush was president.
Yeah, dude. Like, no, there's no way. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you can't like just say that. You know what I'm saying? At least Kenny Atkinson, you can like kind of talk yourself into something there. But like, not these like Doc. These guys who have like not been good coaches in like years and years is crazy.
He would be a hilarious coach though. He's probably the only coach that'd be funnier than Doc.
Have any of these guys even been doing like assistant work? Like I know Van Gundy's been doing like consultant work for the Celtics, but I don't think any of those guys is McMillan an assistant somewhere.
McMillan's
yeah, like that's like they haven't coached. Like when they're not head coaching, they're just not coaching. Like you can't have. I don't know. It's. The Bucks are cooked, man. They're so cooked.
Yeah, it's awesome,
dude. Oh my God, this is just. For their fans' sake, I hope they hire Kenny Atkinson or someone who is.
No, I don't care about their fans' sake.
Yeah, fair.
Sixers are going to beat them 4-1, and they'll be talking about they just missed open shots. They're not actually better than them.
They'll be Bucks posting.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap up this Kyle Lowry conversation with the Terry Rozier deal, because obviously, like I said, the Heat low key save a lot of money. They probably get a rotational upgrade over Kyle Lowry, who is now 37, going on 38 years old. Also, I do just want to point out, if they get to the offseason and they're chasing after a star, they did trade a pick in this. So they traded their 2027 first lottery protected. So that means they can't trade a first from 2026, 2027, 2028, or 2029. Actually, you know what? They
can trade 29 by suspending the lottery protection.
Sure. They could remove the lottery protection from the 27 pick that they sent out, because it becomes unprotected in 28. They could just remove the protection if they really wanted to make a push for a star this offseason. But they really can only trade 29 and 31, as Bert's points out in the comments after the season. And then at the draft, I believe they might have their 24. They might be able to trade that as well. But long story short here, it does limit a little bit of the picks that they can trade. I would imagine if they get to the offseason, they're probably trying to move off Tyler Hero in any sort of trade. And Terry Rozier at least gives you a little bit of like, all right, we have another kind of similar player that we can plug into that role if we want to go chase a star in the offseason. But it definitely doesn't give them as much flexibility as I thought they were going to have. I thought they were just going to wait for the summer and try to trade for Donovan Mitchell. And like, if your offer is like Tyler Hero what even is the offer for Donovan Mitchell in the offseason? Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, and 3 first-round picks? Like, I don't know if they would even trade Jaime Jaquez, which I know we laughed at, but I think that they're like, oh no, we got another star in the draft, so we're not trading him.
Well, it's probably Terry Rozier too. Like, or no, I guess if they're trading Tyler Hero, it's the same guy. Never mind.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I just don't think they're interested in that. And like, I think that this is all just a way to kind of, I think it's just basically what they're saying is like, shut up, Jimmy. Like you're getting pilot the Eva again. Like you're going, we're not getting you we're not spending that kind of money. So get back in there. You don't have to play in the regular season. You'll play your 32 games or whatever the fuck you play in the regular season. And then, do really well in round 1. And then nobody will notice when you are suddenly dog shit in rounds 2 and 3, because some of our guys were just hit devil magic shots and it'll be fine. So
you're fine.
They're not serious about, I don't think the Heat are like serious about contending. I think they're serious about like being like the little engine that could like, wow, we were pretty overmatched and Spo did it again. Like, wow, we got all the way to the conference finals again. Boy, that's like, if they were serious about it, they would have made like a real trade for like a real star player who's, not Jimmy Butler. So
what? I mean, okay. Where did that even go? I don't even understand.
I'm sick of it. I'm
honestly,
mad. I'm
like
mad.
saying the team that made the finals last year is not serious about contending is a great take.
Yes. No, I'm not. They're not serious about it. They would have won the title if they did any.
I don't think it's that they're not serious about contending. I think they just think they're the Heat and it doesn't matter. Like we're going to figure it out anyway.
Yeah. Which honestly, considering their recent history, they don't even yes. They constantly they never make big moves. This is Are you laughing at the comparison to Trump?
I'm laughing at Wolf's comment.
This very much is. Yeah, Trump wasn't even trying to win.
Yeah,
Trump just stumbled into it,
Yeah, Wolf said that for people listening on audio that this is like how Trump wasn't trying to win. The Celtics are Ted Cruz, and it's fucking accurate, man. God damn, that hurts.
And by the way, saying it's exactly how I said an hour ago. I never said the Celtics weren't serious about contending. They just fail at it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a difference. Yeah. Oh God.
I look at this move and I say, I think that it helps them, just improves them. And like, I don't know. I feel like we're going to be sitting here in April. I'm not supposed to take them seriously. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're going to be sitting here in April and we're going to be like, how did Terry Rozier outscore Tyrese Halliburton in this series? And
I will tell you one, if we play the Heat in the playoff series, I'm more scared of Terry Rozier than anyone on that team.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Terry Rozier 2018 is just still scars me. Like that guy.
It's just
you guys never should have let him go.
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't.
That's why you guys have never won anything.
Yeah. It genuinely is not, because Kemba Walker, people let Kemba Walker off the Nick Nurse hurt his knee. No, it was because we let our best player from the 2017-2018 run go.
Yep. No. He was the heart and soul of the team.
Yeah.
Tatum and Brown can't be the leaders in the locker room.
They can. I'm sorry, they can't.
They're not alphas.
No, correct.
I
unironically believe that, by the way.
Yes.
It's unfortunate the Bills lost, because I was going to say they need a man who knows the power of 9/11.
Yes.
Because Osama
I could see Masolo going down that route. If something like that came out of Masolo, I would not be
100%.
I'd be like,
yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm surprised he hasn't commented on already.
Well, he'll do it like with the Crusades, which was like 9/11, but just for Christianity, like the other way around. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like Missoula will like invoke, like he'll bring in like artifacts from like the first crusade or something like that about like, and it's like, Joe, didn't they kind of get their ass whooped and they had to go home? No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
What was the thing? What was the thing after they lost the game to the Nuggets recently? And he made so everyone loves to like Missoula will make a comment after they beat a team, and he'll be like, "Don't ask me about Wemby. I don't care about Wemby." And like everyone's like, "LOL, whatever." And then after the Nuggets game, he made a comment. And everyone was like, "Are you serious right now, dude? Don't fuck around." It's just so funny. After a win versus after a loss, what a coach can say and do for people to be like,
yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, let's slop sources from Gregory.
Yeah, Gregory says that we're getting our Bucks coach tomorrow. This is,
Tomorrow?
Awesome.
I'm surprised Doc would go to Milwaukee that quickly.
It's got to be Doc, dude.
I think Milwaukee. I would think Doc would take his time getting there. Let's see where did the Bucks play Cleveland? Okay.
I was gonna say
I was really hoping the Bucks were like playing in LA tomorrow. That would be incredible.
That would be amazing timing. It's the Cavs. They're playing the Cavs.
Dot Atkinson Stotts says NBA. Feels like Cope. Feels like only one of those is important. And I think it's the first one.
Oh my God, Terry Stotts coming out of retirement to take the fucking job from the guy who just he quit. Oh my God, this is all so absurd. Okay, so here, let's just talk last thing before we get out of here. Kyle Lowry was traded today. So Kyle Lowry is, like I said, 37 going on 38. The Hornets are just like, we're keeping Kyle Lowry. He's going to be on our team, and we're going to see if we can trade him before the deadline.
I don't want Lowry.
All right, Lowry's out for Chiodo. Chiodo knows he doesn't want Lowry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it true that we can't sign a buyout guy?
We can.
I thought Bobby Marks tweeted something.
So here, I'll read the list. This is the list of teams that cannot sign buyout players because they are currently over the first apron. The new CBA basically has it if you're on the first or second apron, you cannot sign buyout guys that make more than like 13 million. I think it's the MLE if they get bought out of their deal. So these are the teams that can't sign buyout guys. Denver, Miami, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Boston, the Clippers, and then the funniest one out of all this is that the Golden State Warriors, who are currently the 12 seed, cannot sign buyout guys. So the Heat guys, the Heat can sign buyout guys because it's only second apron teams. I don't think that's right. I think it's first apron with the new CBA. Someone who's like a CBA guy told me that. But anyway, long story short here, the
new CBA hasn't started yet.
But this is one of the rules that kicks in this year, I was told.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
New CBA is just so dumb.
It's so bad.
So bad, yeah.
This has ruined the buyout market.
Another Grant Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, L.
Yep.
God. CJ, stop podcasting and fucking run your union, man. Like, god damn.
They got to just get like the dogs in there to run the union. Like Paul Reed's got to run the union.
Yes. Get up out the mud.
PJ Tucker fucking leading.
This unironically,
I think PJ's too smart. He's too much of a business guy. Like
No, I think PJ would spit in the face of like Jerry Reinsdorf.
Remember, many people forget PJ Tucker signed in Philadelphia in part because he had off-court business opportunities to explore in the Philadelphia area.
In Delaware, mainly.
Yes.
Yeah. The no taxes.
Now he's in Los Angeles.
Also, that would be a great union representative.
I wonder how the off-court business opportunities are going.
No, you need all dogs in your union membership stuff. You need guys who would be
Pat Bev. Pat
Bev's a great one.
I'm actually he actually should be.
He really should be. Pat Bev would be awesome as a president. Like
Pat Bev would be going on his podcast being like, "This little bitch, Mark Cuban." He said to me, he's just airing out owners on his podcast.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so where do we think Kyle Lowry signs? And I don't want him on the Sixers either. I mean, it kind of spells a Sixers move, to be honest. Morey loves to get an over the hill guy. He has connections to Nurse. He's from Philly. He almost came here before. I kind of think they're going to get Kyle Lowry.
It would depend on what the Sixers do, I think. Like if they were to have to, let's hypothetically say my trade happens, Dejounte Bogdan for Tobias Melton, then I could see it happening, like they replace Melton. But I don't know.
They'd have so many guards if they did that trade, though. Like those guys are both guards.
Oh yeah, I guess. I know, but I consider Bogdan more of like a wing.
Sure,
like a 3.
Yeah,
but as it currently, I would be really annoyed if they like sign Lowry with the intention of him being like the starting. I like Lowry should be signed.
No, it would be like a 6.
Or even that, like the intention of. Okay, I should put it this way: our guard rotation going into the playoffs, if it's after Maxey, if it's Melton, Lowry, and Pat Bev, I'll be very unhappy.
Yeah.
I pretty much only want Lowry if they trade Melton and he's the Melt replacement.
I'd rather just roll with Pat Bev at this point and just be like, fuck it. Like, I mean,
I'm scared of Pat Bev in the playoffs.
So am I, but I'm also scared of Kyle Lowry in the playoffs.
I'd have more confidence in Lowry on the court in the playoffs.
It's close.
Just playing 10 minutes a game. Like, I feel like Lowry, I would trust Lowry to knock down a shot. Do you think he could go back to the Raptors? Oh, that would be, they would be so annoying.
I mean, I think it's a possibility. The other team that I think that could possibly be
Brooklyn.
I wouldn't even say Brooklyn. I would more so say the Bulls because of the DeMar connection.
Yeah.
And because
it's going to be the Bulls.
I think it's the Bulls.
Is it not the Knicks? Not a team that can sign.
They could. I don't think that they could technically sign him.
I'm not. Just to be clear, I'm not saying trade Pat Bev. I'm not sure if I trust him to play deep into the playoffs.
I think Tibbs would absolutely want even a washed Kyle Lowry for their fucking playoff rotation. So I wouldn't sleep on that one. Like,
if they don't get like a ball handler at this deadline, like Dinwiddie, Brogdon, Dejounte, one of those guys. Now that Rozier's gone, because he was another guy, Alec Burks, someone like that, I could see them getting Kyle Lowry. Oh, he's also a Villanova Wildcat.
Yeah.
Adds to
Stay woke.
He's an already Wildcat. He's not part of that generation.
It's been like 20 years.
Yeah, like, I'm serious. Like, all those Nova guys in the Knicks played together. Like, he's not part of that.
Yeah. But no, my prediction is that he signs with the Bulls because I think the Bulls are going to either make a trade where they lose Caruso and Levine or something like that. And then they're going to be like, well, we have to make our play-in push where we sign Kyle Lowry, 38-year-old Kyle Lowry, just like they did last year with Pat Bev. When, by the way, I was on my hands and knees begging that the Sixers sign Pat Bev when he was bought out last year. And they didn't. And now he's been good for us this year. I'm with you. I think Patrick Beverley is like a 10 to 15 minute a game guy in the playoffs. I don't think that you can trust him much more than that. And I hope that they
I don't trust a shot at all. Like, it's been going in. I don't trust it at all.
Do you know what he's shooting?
Every time it goes in, it feels like he's shooting like 40%.
He's shooting 33% from three.
Oh, really?
I looked it up today and I was like, I could have.
You know what that is? The first couple weeks, he was so bad from three. Because I remember there was a point the first couple weeks where I was like, you can't play this guy.
Yeah.
And
he always shoots really poorly to start the season. Yeah.
But every time it goes in, it's a surprise. Like, I don't know how it goes in.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I think Lowry ends up on the Bulls. That's my prediction. Also, could maybe go to the Lakers. I don't know. The Lakers are always one of these teams. They're not
the Lakers can. Oh, I thought the Lakers couldn't sign someone. They can.
They're not a first April team. The Clippers are.
He's a Laker.
LeBron.
Yeah, he's
coming off the bench.
I didn't realize. I thought the Lakers couldn't sign. He's a Laker.
Yeah. It's even with these rules, they're still going to only end up going to the same like 4 teams. They'll just figure out which teams it is. The Bucks. Yeah. I don't know. No, the Bucks can't. I think the Bucks were one of the teams that I listed. I think that they're over the.
I wish they could.
Oh. All right, that's a good place to end it. Thank you for joining us, Chiodo. I appreciate it.
You're gonna need to get.
Sorry about the cold dose reality, Celtics fans.
Let's go. I need that. You can say we need the Chiodo mini clip. They need to put that on the. That needs to go on the jumbotron right before the Sixers play the Celtics.
No, do not put it on the jumbotron then, because this is January. I can say whatever I want.
Not yet. Cold light of day.
April. We're sitting here, and he's like, "Look, this."
I'm a very different person right now than in May. Like, I'm serious. Like, right now, I can say whatever I want. No one's going to remember this in 4 months. April and May, like in the first round of the playoffs, I have to be very calculated with what I say in the first round of the playoffs. Always.
Yeah. Fair. Sign up for the Patreon if you haven't already. We did Trade Machine War Crimes last week. It was a lot of fun. Go check that out. Also, you get all these episodes early, and you would have heard about all of this stuff if you were in the Unoball Discord, because all this slop was already dropped in the Unoball Discord about the Rozier trade. We knew about it before, about Adrian Griffin being fired. So sign up. Link is in the description. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.
Peace.